All right, welcome back to Bayou Time News. I'm Martin False with First Lieutenant Blake Tabor of the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Department, also serves as their public information officer. Lieutenant, good to see you.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, two stories to talk about. Home invasion, those are spooky,
Absolutely.
as we know. And let's lead off with that one because a lot of information on that.
Sure. So on May 18th, shortly after 1:30 a.m., our patrol division was called to a residence in the 200 block of Bellingrath Drive. The homeowners at that point provided some information that two masked gunmen had entered the home, which is not something that we hear about on a regular basis. Of course, it does happen, but in that particular area too, it was quite alarming. So, of course, our patrol division responded very quickly and were able to determine that the homeowners were unharmed, which was a good thing. But they did locate a lot of indicators that the home was entered and that things were substantiated. So we moved very quickly at that point. As usual, our criminal intelligence unit was dispatched out for assistance. And doing the excellent job that they do, they quickly were able to determine some video surveillance footage that was captured from the area. And after doing some other additional investigative databases, they were able to quickly locate a vehicle that was linked to this particular crime. And as we've talked before, anytime a vehicle is linked to a crime, we can certainly develop some avenues for potential suspects, which is exactly what they did.
And chances are it links it to somebody else's crime.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, there's always indicators and circumstances that it could be a stolen vehicle and other indicators. But, of course, they do a very good job of sort of weeding through all of that information. And ultimately, it led to the development of a suspect in the Baton Rouge area. It also culminated in some search warrants that were conducted. And, of course, we needed some assistance from our public safety partners, those being Zachary Police Department, the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office, and the Ascension Parish Sheriff's
And
Office.
let's pull that picture up if we have it. That way we can show.
Yep.
There you have it.
So this was the Mr. Cheney was the gentleman that was linked to this particular crime. After the culmination of several search warrants throughout the Baton Rouge area, it sort of confirmed his involvement in that particular incident. Which we got very lucky, and we need to get lucky
What
sometimes.
brought him to Houma?
I haven't been briefed on those circumstances yet, but there was some sort of investigative link between, the victims and Mr. Cheney. So.
But you made a good point, too, with cameras. That's why I urge everyone, go buy, they have inexpensive cameras now you can hook up to your house. It helps y'all tremendously.
And the main thing it does is, oftentimes we can't capture very good video to say, hey, that is so-and-so on the video. But what it does is it leads us in a direction where we're not limiting our resources investigating other crimes or other circumstances. So it's a plus. The cameras are fantastic, and we urge everyone that can afford them to get them.
Yeah. Let's jump to our second story. Y'all arrested a cutoff man in SVU investigation and also home invasion.
Absolutely. So these cases are never really fun to talk about, but they happen, and they happen all too often in our area and across the country. So on June 1st, culminated in the arrest of a Sean Michael Geegan. He's a 44-year-old male living in the cutoff area. You see him pictured here. For several weeks prior to June 1st, our SVU investigators had been communicating with Mr. Geegan. In a nutshell, our investigators assumed or posed as a 14-year-old male on these technology application platforms, and it was precisely to target people who are looking for underage people for sexual activity. They began to communicate with Mr. Geegan. He was very proactive in pursuing this fictitious 14-year-old male, and it ultimately led him to the Houma area on June 1st, where he agreed to meet with the authorities. Unbeknownst to him, he thought he was meeting with the 14-year-old male. So when he arrived at the location in the 4100 block of West Park, our officers were there to greet him and took him into custody. At that point, our SVU investigators quickly identified him as Sean Michael Geegan and confirmed his identity. And through the course of that investigation, they were able to confirm that he was also a registered sex offender through the state of Louisiana and had previous charges for carnal knowledge of a juvenile and indecent behavior with a juvenile.
Do y'all find that type of crime is picking up with, I guess, more of a transient influx to the parishes, or is it basically always a problem?
Yeah, and I think it's always been a problem, but as we see technology sort of taking the forefront in our community and with the youth, I think it's kind of the old adage, Martin, that we talk about. When you walk in dark places or down dark streets, you create an environment where you can be easily victimized. And unfortunately, the amount of technology that we have at our youth's fingertips, they can easily be victimized. So that's why I think we're seeing the uptick.
And just with about 40 seconds left, we urge the parents to get involved too with your children and know what they're up to, because they could be walking in a trap.
Absolutely. And for those who follow the Facebook page for the Sheriff's Office, we've recently done a juvenile safety initiative where we are going out into the community starting this next school year, and also via social media to educate parents on things they may not be aware of, and also to educate the youth in our community on how they can be victimized.
All right, Lieutenant, good seeing you again. Y'all keep up the great work.
We will.
And always look forward to seeing you. Sometimes it's tough news, but you do a great job of getting it out to the public. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for
And
having
thanks to the sheriff as well.
me. Absolutely.
All right, we'll take a short break. We'll be back with more. Don't go away.